Okay, so this question's quite long, so I'm not going to read it. So if you want to read the question before I give the explanation or try it out yourself, then pause the video here. Okay, so I'm assuming now you've read the question and we're going to get started. So we're asked to find the distance between the yachts, which is between P and Q. So P and Q I'm going to label X. Now we have to think about the two methods we can use to solve this. Note that we should not assume that this over here is 180 degrees because north and the line are slightly different, so that doesn't mean that they're at a 180 degree angle, and we should not assume that yet. What we could do, though, is first method would be to use the sine rule. So the sine rule, we could just use the sine rule to find this angle, which we can label theta, and then we can do 180 minus theta minus 53 to get this angle, and we can use that to solve for x using another sine rule. So we have to use the sine rule twice. Or we could use a cosine rule where we solve with 2.4 as a subject, but we solve for x. Personally, I prefer the sine rule, so we're going to do that as this method. So since we have 2.4 and 53, we can already write this as 2.4 over sine 53. And that's equal to 2.1 over sine theta. And if we do a little rearranging, we should get sine theta is equal to 2.1 sine 53 over 2.4. So theta is equal to the inverse of sine of that, which is, let me just put this into my calculator real quickly, 2.4, that gives us an angle of 44.33 degrees approximately. So that means this angle at L, which I'm going to call alpha, alpha is equal to 180 minus 53 minus 44.33, which is equal to, let me just do that real quick. So that's 82.67 degrees. So that's what we're going to assume alpha to be. And now we can just use the sine rule again to solve for x. So what we can do here is do 2.4 over sine 53 is equal to x over sine 82.67. If we do a little rearranging, we get x is equal to 2.4 sine 82.67 over sine 53. So x is equal to, and I'll just put this in my calculator real quick. And that gives us a length of 2.981 km approximately. So we're going to round that to 2.98. No, we're going to round that to 3 because it's given it in two significant figures. So the answer is 3.0 km, or 2.98 if you want to be even more specific. So part C asks us to find the bearing of the Queen Maria from the Porpoise. This part is very easy. So given that we know the angle at P is 44.33 degrees, as per our calculations, we know that the bearing must be 223 minus 44.33, because we're looking at this length over here. It's from the Porpoise to the Queen Maria. So that gives us 178.67, and we're going to have to round it to a whole number because it's a bearing. So that gives us 179 degrees as the bearing.